is Simon for the Bracketeer at South OC Cars and Coffee. I'm with Tom and Maddie, and they have an amazing car of the week, amazing story, and a bit of a connection to this guy here as well. What is it, Tom?
It's a 1927 Chrysler Phaeton. It was the original parade car for the government of Victoria, Australia.
So there we go, an Aussie car. Let's swing the camera around and take a look. So Tom, this is a really special looking car, and it's an Aussie car. And not only, a lot of people look at this, the Chrysler, and go, oh, it's probably made in the US. This car was built in Australia.
That's correct. It was originally right-hand drive, and when we converted it into a street rod, we made it left-hand drive for California roads. It has a 1957 392 Chrysler Hemi in it.
Yeah, which looks so super cool in there. Look at that.
Got a GM 700R4 overdrive trans as well.
Yep.
And then a one-off Gary Height independent stainless steel and polished aluminum rear end in it, as well as a stainless steel TCI front independent front suspension.
There's a lot of work that's gone into this thing. I mean, look at the interior with those beautiful gauges. I love the fact that they're obviously not original, but they look period correct, which is great.
No, they are original.
They are the original gauges.
They were massaged by MoMA. Margaret built those especially for me, and we made a tachometer out of the old clock, and we made a clock out of the old on-off switch.
Oh, sensational.
We put a speedometer out of a 1925 Fairchild Mail airplane.
Wow.
On the dashboard.
That is so special. Now, just explaining the whole Australian built thing, what a lot of people don't realise, in Australia we had Chrysler, we had Dodge Brothers, we had Chevrolet, we had Ford. What they would typically do is the Australian would have coach builders, and they would buy rolling chassis. So Holden in Australia, for example, would buy rolling chassis from GM, so there'd be Chevrolet, Oldsmobile, Buicks, Cadillacs, and then they would build a right-hand drive body onto that chassis as a coach builder. And of course, Holden had been around since the days of making horse and buggies. And that was where GM started. Of course, they've just killed the whole name, unfortunately, in Australia. But Chrysler was the same. In Australia, you could buy a Chrysler, you could buy a Dodge Brothers, and the cars, the coach work was actually built in Australia. So you said it started off as an Australian government car, and then it went to Hawaii?
Yes, it was started out in 27. The factory delivery sticker was actually a Chrysler bodied car from Detroit.
Right.
So that was a very rare anomaly for an Australian car.
Yep.
And it was ordered to be a parade car, so it had all the parade car accoutrement to it. And then in 1966 it was retired from Victoria and sold to Oahu, Hawaii, where it was their parade car until 1978. And then in 1978, the city of Bishop, California bought it, and it was their parade car from 1978 to 1991. And we essentially bought the car out of the yard in 1991. They had retired it some years before. But in the end, it was a very popular car, and it worked very well. It had less than 1,000 miles on it in 1927.
That is insane.
So it was a beautiful car to start with, and think about the dignitaries that this car ferried around over its life.
Yeah, exactly. What color was it originally?
It was originally kind of a tan color.
Okay. Yeah, right.
And then we changed it to the original parade car maroon. The Victoria changed it to tan. They changed it to the Sport Phaeton model color. They liked it. They thought it would be a better, more showy car.
And originally, we talked about this earlier, it had an inline 6 in it.
Correct.
And the number of the car denoted the speed of the car. So this was a 7.
Model 70 Phaeton.
Yeah, so it did 70 mile an hour.
Correct.
So and interesting, I noticed you like to keep an eye on things when you're not here as well.
That's correct.
Which is good. I think you need a little bit of visine in that, just given how bloodshot that is.
Von Dutch was a very dear friend of mine when I got to know him early in my magazine career when I was writing for Fabulous Mustangs and Hot Rod and all those good books.
Yeah, you're not new to this car game, are you? No. You've been writing for forever.
Well, I've got a car museum with about 10 cars in it, so it keeps me out of streets and off the bars, and my wife can always find me.
That's always a good way to be. So this is such a great car. I love the fact that you put a Hemi in it, but not a new Hemi, a classic Hemi, which is super cool as well. And I think you said it also it took out an award at
this was the
Grand Nationals.
This was the Hot Rod Touring Class winner for the 2006 Grand National Roadster Show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And this car also, the paint and the interior work was done by a very famous guy named Eddie Martinez.
Oh, excellent.
He was called the greatest upholsterer in history by Hot Rod Magazine. He's a Hall of Fame guy.
Oh, wow.
So we've had a lot of the right people touch this car.
Yeah, obviously. Well, I love the tie back to Australia. That's great. I really do appreciate that. And as our winner of Car of the Week, you get this Maguire's Complete Kit with a polishing sponge, cleaner wax, scratch remover, car wash, glass cleaner, interior detailer, and hot shine foam, you can keep this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful looking Chrysler in this impeccable condition that it already is. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Simon.
My pleasure.